episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to be looking at one of the new PRS pedals. But before we get into the pedal, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with many people in the business. And in this case, we used our Zzounds library card to get in the Mary Cries compressor, one of the new 3 PRS pedals.
Right. And we did reach out to PRS, and there's a waiting list.
Right.
So we went to Zzounds, and we got it. So anyway, yeah, we have the new Mary Cries Optical Compressor pedal in. We're going to be talking about this today and checking this out. It's all PRS all the time. I can't believe Pat didn't bring his PRS amp over to run.
That's true.
Sorry about that. And the other thing I can't believe, we had PRS guitars, PRS pedals today. Could have used the PRS amp. But man, don't you wish these stools...
That's right.
These stools are so noisy. Every time I edit a video, it drives me crazy. I wonder if they're PRS stools.
What if they make those at all?
Yeah, we could really use PRS stools.
We have plenty of PRS shirts and swag, but we got to brand ourselves every once in a while. But
right. So yeah, let's talk compressors, which is something we often don't talk about. We've been planning on doing a video or two on the tone press parallel compressor from Barber Electronics for a long time, and have a friend that we want to help us with that, which is why it hasn't happened, because we're chicken to try and
chicken pick
with it ourselves. So Dave's pedal, you're thinking probably based off like a Ross or Dynacomp, something like that, but then he did Barber wizardry and put in the blend knob. And if you look at a lot of the compressors that are floating around today that people really like, they have a blend knob on there that's kind of based off of, I'm going to say kind of based off Dave's design.
That he came up with on a bike ride.
So really cool. We can squish it down really good, but then roll that clean sound back in. Pat, so you've been using one on your board.
Yeah.
This is not that.
No.
So this is not that. What is this?
This is an LA2A compressor. It's an optical compressor. And as you've known from maybe watching some videos from Paul and what he likes, apparently he has an amazing studio with a lot of vintage gear in it. Big fan of the LA2A that I can't remember when they started being made. They stopped being made in 1969, and they're rack-mounted ones, and the Universal Audio in 2000 started making those again, and now they have plugins. However, Paul likes that studio sound, so he has this compressor. Again, it's an optical compressor. It's not going to do that squishy thing that you expect it to do. But I don't know if any of you are familiar with or ever seen the Sonic Maximizer, like the BBE Sonic Maximizer. I can't describe to you what it does, but when you push the button and turn it on with vocals, acoustic guitar, it just adds to it. It makes it a little more spatial and maybe special. And I feel like that's a little bit what this does, to the point where the compression knob, there's a light that comes on when you engage the pedal. Then there's a light that comes on when the compressor is activated, because it's so subtle sometimes that they wanted to make sure they knew when it was kicking on. That's how subtle it is. That's how different it is than what you're used to hearing, the spanky, squishy.
Yeah, I found it to be, I don't know if that's the goal, but I found it to be very different than the compressors I've played with in the past. So should we jump into it?
I think we should.
All right. So first clip. I grabbed this guitar, which is the Paul Reed Smith SE Silver Sky. Love the color on that. And so a lot of times when I grab a Strat style guitar, Silver Sky, I will, for something maybe a little more funky, a little more rhythmic, turn off everything pretty much. Like I'll turn off the overdrive, turn off the delays, the reverb stays on the amp. But then I want to boost it up a little bit. So I have a Vertex boost on my board. I could easily see replacing that with this. And if in this clip, I did. I goosed it a little bit with the input gain here. But then I had the compressor up pretty hot.
Right.
And I played a little bit with it off and then kicked it on. I think you'll be able to really tell the difference.
Right.
So sounds like this.
All right, so that was Jason using a Silver Sky in the 2 position, the spankiest one, and he put the Mary Cries on it. I thought it sounded great. So because when I think compression, I think chorus and compression and all 80s all the time, I did grab my 95 PRS guitar that has dragging pickups, so kind of hot pickups. So I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, but then I paired it with the real simple MXR Micro Chorus because we needed to have less knobs to twist. We only had 2 on the compressor and 1 on here. So I used that to try to get something that would be how I would use a compressor and a chorus together. Played it on here, played it on this version of a 2 position on this, and this is what it sounds like.
So in PRS through the years, we went from a 2022 Silver Sky to a 1995. Now we're jumping up to the year 2001, which was the year my son was born. So to find one on the year he was born, I looked a long time for a Hollowbody. So I grabbed this, and I wasn't really sure what to do. I went back to let's just turn the compression off, and let's slam the front of the amp, and turn the gain way up, and then use the volume knob. So you'll hear it with the volume knob all the way up, you'll hear it with the volume knob pulled back, and then you find those magic spots. There's magic spots on some of these guitars that when you grab them and you hold them, they just come to life, especially on the true Hollowbody. I wish you could feel how light this thing is. So here you go. So I hope you enjoyed the Beard's version of WWTPD. What would Tim Pierce do with the Mary Cries? He would juice the output. So kind of following that, I got the Beard's 2000 Swamp Ash Special Down, another very light guitar. Look at the grain on that. It's just ridiculous. And had the Mary Cries, and I paired it with the Barber Electronics direct drive and started playing some pretty big open overdriven chords, and you could hear with just a direct drive with the DLS Echo Tour sounded like, and then kicked on the Mary Cries and just took it to another level. So, trying to keep the video kind of short, and what you probably wouldn't translate is, I mean, we spent a lot of time down here tonight with each one of these guitars and just kind of playing around because, like I said, typically not compressor guys, but this is really cool. I know Paul says he wants to build pedals that make it to the board. I know for me, I could easily replace the the Vertex boost that I have on my board, get the same thing out of this, and actually really like that bit of compression that I could bring in when I go to this, because that's what I mostly use is when I go to the Strat. So I could easily do that, really like that. Unfortunately, I have to send this one back. That's what I'm struggling with. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the Mary Cries. We spent some time, different pickups, different guitars, just kind of exploring a little bit. Anything to add? Yeah,
it's an interesting pedal. Again, me, of the two of us, probably haven't dove into compression because I feel like I should, right? So I tried the Swindler Effects one, and I'm using the Barber one, and I'm using a DLS chorus because there's some things that I like, that big spatial, even in the genre we do. But that's very different. I'm still processing this pedal, to be quite honest with you. It sounded good. I think it's only going to sound even better recorded. We always talk about what it sounds like in the room versus recording, but really, because it's really modeled after audio gear, I think it's probably going to come out really well on the recording. So I like it. I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around, just as I enter into the world of compressors, I try something that's completely different.
Yeah, well, and I mean, how often do you pick up a pedal that has a familiar name on it and feel like that's different than what you've tried before?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a difference to this than what I've tried before. So maybe if you've tried compressors and aren't getting along with them, it might be a route to go down. So with that, anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Thanks for watching. If you're still with us, we appreciate anybody that subscribes and clicks the notification bell, hits the like button, leaves comments. Anytime you interact with the show, like Pat said, that really helps us keep doing this, helps us make these relationships so we can bring you cool gear like the Mary Cries from PRS Guitars. With that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear, especially if it says PRS. I think we should play the only other guitar in the room that's PRS that we didn't use yet. We have others, they're just not here. So we're going to play the 2000 McCarty along with the Silver Sky with the direct drive, DLS, and the Mary Cries.
We've probably cut at this point.
It'll look like this.